You're living in constant fear. That's what it is. You're living in constant fear living in Thailand as an expat. When they move the goalposts and you become more and more vulnerable, it can affect your entire life. Hi guys, welcome back. This is Alpha Omega Casely. Do you know something? It's really becoming very, very frustrating, to say the least. They're changing the goalposts again. Every morning, well, it's an exaggeration to say every morning, but at least once a week, I hear some news from various sources that my time in Thailand is being affected by changes in the immigration law, the tax laws and the banking laws, and it's incessant, it's non-bloody stop, and it's wearing me down. It really is. I'm sure it's wearing you down. I'm not criticising anybody. This is not a criticism. It's an observation. It's venting my frustration. Thailand has an absolute right to determine who lives within its borders and under what conditions those aliens, as I am one, live within its borders. They're absolutely entitled to do that, as any country is. But it doesn't take away from the fact that when you arrive here and you first apply for a visa and you first open a bank account and you do all those things, that you meet the criteria that's set down. You know, when you first come to Thailand, you make a decision to come, you fulfill the criteria that's set down by the Thais. But you see, the thing that's frustrating, and I'm not taking away from the fact that Thailand has a perfect right to exercise its laws in relation to every aspect of what goes on in their own country. It's their prerogative, it's their right, and it's not for me to criticise it. And I'm not criticising it. I'm just saying it frustrates me that every day, well, not every day, but from every other day now, I'm waking up to news that there's one aspect, there's one criterion that's changed and another criterion that's changed, and we'll find that all criteria have changed in relation to maintaining your existence here. I'm not saying it has, not all criteria has changed, but a lot of criteria are being changed. So where am I? As you're saying, Burger King. I didn't intend to come to Burger King, but I changed the rules. I changed my mind, as anyone's entitled to do. But it doesn't take away from the fact that it's so damn frustrating to live in Thailand now. Because every single week there's something different, or there's a development, and situations are evolving. God, if I hear that one more time. It's unfair to target Thailand, and say that this is wrong, or this is, well, it's okay to say it's frustrating, that's perfectly okay. But I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying it's a pain in the ass. But any country, if you look at countries around the world, do you know the United States is one of, I think it's the only one, I've checked quite a few, and the United States is the only country that I've checked that if you are born in the United States of foreign parents, you are an automatic US citizen. That doesn't apply in Thailand. It doesn't apply in any country that I've checked. And I've checked the United Kingdom. I know in Ireland it doesn't apply. I know in Australia it doesn't apply. I know in Norway it doesn't apply. I've checked France, it doesn't apply. So in every country they have these regulations about. Of course they do. But do they change the goalposts as often as the goalposts seem to be changing here? If you're wondering what I got, this is not a food review. I got, it cost me 232 baht. This is me breakfast. She told me breakfast was finished. There was eggs supposed to be. I don't know if you can read that, can you? There's. Have a look. She told me breakfast was finished, and I said I didn't order breakfast, but apparently there was an egg on these beef rolls. What are they called? 3 morning beef rolls. There you go, with cheese. Apparently there's an egg with them, so they're not doing the eggs after 11 o'clock. So I said, well, just give them to me without the eggs. And she did. I feel like Michael Douglas in what's that one? Falling Down. It was 11:05 and they'd finished the breakfast. And the only reason they wouldn't give me the rolls is because it was eggs in the rolls, and they don't do eggs after 11 o'clock. God damn. Talk about changing the goalposts. And by the way, I know, I'm not going to say it. That's nice. That's quite nice. The coffee's lovely. Anyway, this is not a food review. These are these beef rolls. Supposed to have egg, but there's no egg, so I'm not complaining because I got them. Let's have a look and see. Let's see what this tastes like. Really, really good. I swear to God. That is really surprising. Really good. Anyway, it's not a food review. I'd recommend these. I really would. I thought I ordered 2, but I got 3. I thought it was a bit steep, 232 with coffee and 2 of these rolls. There's a bit of salt. But, hang on, get in there. There you go. So what do you think? Do you feel the same way as me? You would be forgiven for feeling that you're not wanted here. Apparently, it's not all down to immigration. The rules are changing. The banks are implementing their own rules, independent of immigration. I don't know. I really don't know. Things will continue to develop and change, and we continue to develop and change, and that's what makes things interesting. But it makes it so goddamn frustrating. Will I meet the criteria for my O visa this time next year? At the moment, I meet the criteria, but as things change, will I meet the criteria this time next year? Will they change the amount of money you have to have in your bank? At the moment, it's 800,000 baht for a retirement visa. It's 400,000 baht for a marriage visa. Will they change that figure? And will many of us who have just that amount of money be left high and dry? I'm going to finish this, and I'll talk to you in a bit. They are quite delicious. And the coffee's spot on. Do you know something? I've had a lot of fast food in my time. That was absolutely spot on. That was delicious. I told you, I didn't even know they had these. Maybe I'm living on a different planet. Morning rolls, beef. You can have them with pork as well if you like. Normally comes with egg, but it was too late for the egg. But without the egg. So it's 177, is it? Yeah. The 3 rolls were 177. The cappuccino was 55. So all in all, 232. There you go. Could have been worse. It could have been 233 or even 333. So, you can't criticise me. I brought my tray back and disposed of my leftovers. There you go. Anyway, I want to do a couple of things, but I want to talk to you more about this. But seriously, and I am serious about this, have you ever thought about this? You wake up one morning in the not too distant future and realise that you don't qualify for the visa you're already on. That is the uncertainty of life here. At the moment, everything is going along reasonably smoothly. But you've heard the phrase, there's no smoke without fire. You know, things are smouldering away. and maybe they'll ignite into something spectacularly awkward for the likes of you and me. And when I've invested my time, my money, my emotions, I've invested my life into the last 13 years in Thailand, and to have that cloud of doubt hanging over me, that the goalposts are continually being changed, it takes away from it. It genuinely does. I've said it a million times on this channel, and I mean it. I am content living in Thailand, but I've had to learn to manage my emotions and manage my mental well-being. So as people say, you live day by day. I do, because I could be dead tomorrow. That's the way I'm looking at it. That will I still be here? Will I still be able to stay here in a year from now, having invested in my son is Thai? What happens if the criteria changes and I can't even afford to stay here, or I don't meet the criteria set down to stay here, and I have to leave my wife and family behind? Again, that's not a criticism. If I don't meet the criteria, I don't meet the criteria, and that's the end of it. Thailand has the absolute right to determine what it wants to determine in order to determine who stays here. But being on the receiving end of it is absolute. It's like you're living in constant fear. That's what it is. You're living in constant fear living in Thailand as an expat. Am I overreacting? Am I the only one? I mean, really, do you have this niggling doubt in the back of your mind that even though you wanted to stay here, that you may not be able to stay here as time goes on? I'm not worried, because I've gone beyond worrying. You can worry yourself to death, and worry doesn't solve anything, or worry doesn't amend anything. So I had me Burger King there today, and I enjoyed it. I came out to record this video, and I'm enjoying talking to you. And you see, another thing about this thing is, by the way, this channel never started out to be a Thailand channel. But because of the fact that I live here, it's, I'm talking about things that affect me where I live. So I live in Thailand, so it's about Thailand. So what happens if I have to relocate through no fault of my own? I don't want to finish my channel, so I'll go somewhere else. But will my viewers follow me? You see, things like this, when they move the goalposts and you become more and more vulnerable, it can affect your entire life. I have listened to and watched various YouTubers over the last few weeks who have slung their hook. They've left Thailand. One fella, I forget his name, and I genuinely forget his name. He's had, how many followers? He's got, I think 20,000 or something like that followers. He built a channel here, and over 4 years, going around various parts of Southeast Asia. He's half Dutch, I think. Very lovely fella, but he's decided to leave and go back to Europe. And now I didn't watch the whole video, so I didn't get the whole detail of why he decided to leave. But I get the general idea. And he's decided to finish his channel. I'm never going to finish this channel by my own means. I will not. Because I love this channel, and I love bringing in the videos that I know you enjoy. And I try to vary it as much as possible. But this is not doom and gloom. I'm not saying things are going to happen. I'm just saying that this is the niggling doubt that's in the back of my mind 24/7, but it's there all the time. And if you're wondering where I am today, I'm at the street in Rashida, and we have Foodland there, supermarket. We've got Burger King, Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's all here. You could while away the hours here and have a great old time, and take your mind off this impending or possibly impending doom that's going to affect or could affect a small minority or a large minority or a majority or a small majority or a large majority of us. I think that I'll just say it this much. If you're welcomed into somebody's house and you live there under the conditions that have been set down, and if the conditions begin to change and change and change and make it more difficult for you to live in that house, do you think you're going to stay there? Probably not. You'd up stakes and leave. As I said before, it's not because I don't love Thailand. I love Thailand, and I respect Thailand, and I respect the laws and the rules and regulations. But because of the uncertainty and the niggling doubts, it really is getting to me. And if I wasn't in the position where I am, i.e. in a productive relationship with my 7-year-old son and my wife, when I say productive relationship, I'm talking about my wife, but with a Thai family, if I wasn't in the situation with my Thai family, see, I'm not free just to up stakes and go. I can't afford, I said this before, to bring my wife and son to live in Europe, but I can afford to bring myself to go and live in Europe as an individual, but I can't do that. But if I was single, I'd be seriously thinking about that. Seriously. But you know what I had to give a lot of thought to would be this channel, because I don't want to up stakes, and I'm not doing it. I'm just saying that this is a possibility in the future. This channel is associated with Thailand, but maybe I'm saying it's associated with ranting. So if I went to live, let's say for example in the Philippines, I could do the same thing there. If I went to live in Cambodia, could do the same thing there. But I'm fed up with visas. I'm fed up with the uncertainty. I'm fed up with the uncertainty of banking and all those things. If I was to relocate, it would be back to Europe, like that guy I was talking to you about earlier on, the Dutch fella. Oh my God, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm completely uncertain. Completely. So where do you stand on this? What do you think? Honestly, I just want to know. I want to know. I've got a pain in the ass. I've got a pain in the ass with this. I wish to God, and I don't mean this in the way it sounds, I wish to God I wasn't married. And I wish to God I wasn't in the situation I am in now. I wish it was a free agent, because if I was a free agent, I wouldn't be here because of the uncertainty. It's a horrible thing to have to live with uncertainty. And of course, I can't blame anyone else for my uncertainty, only me, because I've put myself in this situation. By the way, just as a heads up, it's not just Thailand. The European Union are making it extremely difficult for people to move around and enter and stay in the European Union if you're not an EU citizen. And at least I can say that I am. And at least I can say that I am an EU citizen. But I think it's from the 1st of October. Let me double check this before I commit to saying something that isn't factually correct. And you know I would never do that. So they're starting it from the 12th of October. Can you see that? I don't know if you can with the glare, but from the 12th of October, the EU is introducing its biometric entry-exit system, EES, starting on October 12, 2025. This new digital system will require non-EU citizens to provide biometric data such as fingerprints, facial images upon entry to the Schengen area. This EES will be phased in over the 6 month period, and with full implementation is expected by April 10th, 2026. And you might say to me, well, Ireland isn't a member of Schengen. Well, you see, we don't have to be, because the restricted movements into Schengen and around Schengen only apply to non-EU citizens. Any EU citizen who is a citizen of a EU country that is not a member of the Schengen area can move around Schengen without any problem. We're the same as Schengen area countries. There's a reason why Ireland's not in Schengen, and I'll tell you, it's because of the border with Northern Ireland. We don't want the border with Northern Ireland because it's our country. It's not British, it's our country. And because the British at the time opted out of Schengen, if we opted into Schengen, the border would close. So why should we have a closed border in our own country? So we were cajoled. I won't say cajoled, they didn't give a shit really, but we ended up, our backs were to the wall. We were stuck between a rock and a hard place. We had to opt out of Schengen. But the fact that we're not in Schengen means absolutely nothing. I'm an EU citizen and I can freely move, but the EU are implementing this. Thailand have done it with the digital arrival card. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but all countries are going absolutely bonkers with immigration, and I swear to God, am I happy that I have an EU passport. I don't have to. If I did, if all things went belly up here and I was so uncertain that I had to get out of here, I don't have to go home to my home country. I can go anywhere within the EU. What's he beeping at? Thais don't usually beep the horns. Maybe he recognises me. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. I've got steadily more angry as this video has progressed. Maybe it's because I'm realising that I'm a victim in this case. Or maybe I victimised myself. I put myself in this situation. Well, we've all put ourselves in this situation. Are we going to stay here? Are we going to tolerate it? Because we're only being tolerated at the moment, and that's what it would seem to be. Guys, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you click that like button, the share button, subscribe button. Do all those wonderful things, and I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. I'm parked over there. That's where I'm going. I'll see you next time.